Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a very special Star Trek stream. Two out of the three of my panelists have some real life stuff going on. So, I made the executive decision to postpone our talk about the Deep Space Nine crew till next Saturday. However, instead of not streaming, pause, damn you. Okay. However, instead of not streaming at all, I figured what I would do is do kind of a cold reaction, because Pincalo sent me this video last Sunday, and I've been meaning to watch it, and I just haven't gotten a chance to do so. So, um, what was I saying? Sorry, I got distracted. We're gonna watch this video. Sorry, Functional was just DMing me about, he was supposed to join us today. So we're gonna watch a video by Certifiably In Game, and I do hope that he doesn't mind. I I ask forgiveness rather than permission, right? Or it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission, I guess. So we're gonna watch a video by Certifiably In Game, and he did a video called A Profile of Will Riker. So that's what, and in the spirit of asking forgiveness instead of permission, what would Will Riker do? Ask forgiveness instead of permission. Hence the name of the stream title. So, hello to Fury Kitten. Hello to Spittle Buggies. Thank you for joining me. And we are going to get right into this. I've already got the screen shared. So we are going to go down over here and start the show. So this is a 16-minute video, so it'll take us probably about 40 minutes to go through. And we're just going to watch this video, and I really do hope that Mr. Game, Mr. Game, that I hope Certifiably In Game does not mind my watching this video. I have watched a couple of other things that he's done on recommendation from Pincalo, and he is very good. So I highly recommend that you check him out. I will put his link in the description of the stream after the stream is over, because I completely forgot to grab it before I went live, because I suck. But I will edit the description and put his link to his channel in the description. Hello, Richo! You need to... A 16-minute video is a 10-hour stream. Oh, well, the kids are gone, maybe I could... No. Okay. Let's start this stream.
Hello all, it's been a while since I've done one of these personnel files, but let's look at the career of William T. Riker as depicted in the Star Trek shows. There will be apocryphal content added to fill in some blanks, but his canonical timeline overrides this. So, although there's potentially room for him to have advanced to the rank of Rear Admiral before he retired, we see him return to duty in Star Trek Picard at the rank of Captain, so a large segment of his time on the USS Titan has yet to be documented. Nevertheless, there will be spoilers for all Star Trek series ahead, so let's jump in.
Oh no, not spoilers! You can't have spoilers for old shows. Well, except I guess for Picard. I don't know.
William Thomas Riker was born on August 19th in Valdez, Alaska, on Earth in 2335 to Kyle and Elizabeth Betty Riker. Kyle Riker was a civilian strategist to Starfleet, and as we'll see, Will inherited his flair for tactical thinking.
Yes, he did.
While growing up, Will Riker lived in Fairbanks for a time. In 2337, his mother died, and Kyle Riker continued to work away from home frequently. This led Will to become very independent and take up cooking for himself, as well as practice his love of jazz music.
Yep.
Occasionally, his father would engage him in Anbo Jutsu training. In 2350, however, Kyle Riker simply stopped visiting his son, and Will considered himself abandoned.
Well, yeah, and this is what you see with, this is what is shown in the, this is one of the episode titles that I actually can't remember. It's in season 2, and I think it's the 14th episode, or it's either the 13th or the 14th episode of season 2. Kyle Riker comes on board, and Will is none too happy about it. And we see that, Will is very resentful of Kyle. And it's very well illustrated by Jonathan Frakes. He does a great job. Hi, Costin. Spoiler alert, in Titanic, the ship sinks at the end. So it's, it's very well depicted, and I think Jonathan Frakes does a great job, and it's a good character arc. Like we said last week, the character of Will Riker was unfolded very well by the writers in TNG, and this was one of those moments where it was unfolding very nicely and at a very timely manner.
In 2353, with nowhere else to go, he applied to join Starfleet Academy and was accepted. While at the Academy, he took the Command Training Program as his primary focus, but also engaged in numerous optional classes such as Engineering, Communications, Sciences, and Piloting.
And you can see this illustrated again in TNG, because Riker has been known to help Geordi in engineering. He's worked with Data at Science and Ops, and Geordi recommends him to Jellicoe as the best pilot to deploy mines along the Cardassian ships. This is very, again, backed up by everything in TNG. You are my spoilers. I don't watch Star Trek. I literally just listen to your show and love it this way. Oh, thank you, Spittlebuggies. That's very nice. Very nice of you to say.
He also won a spot on the Academy band. During one training simulation, he managed to calculate a blind spot in enemy Tholian vessels and hid from its sensors for a time, figuring out the first of many tactical situations. In 2354, he took advanced survival skills, but an unexpected hurricane hit the testing site and he was trapped under a tree for 3 days before rescue.
Damn! I need to start reading more Star Trek books, because this stuff is interesting. I would like to know more about the backstory of Will Riker.
This year he also pulled a prank with friends on an instructor so that the senior officer transported in minus his clothing. This incident caused a much greater scandal than Riker believed, and he took on a greater understanding of seriousness and of his duty. By the end of his time at SFA, Riker had enough of a grounding in sciences to pursue a doctorate, but instead had his focus on securing a command position before the age of 35, preferably on a starship. He graduated in 2357 at 8th in his class and was promoted to ensign. His first assignment was to the Tarrant 4 orbital base, but he refused in favour of a posting on the USS Pegasus NCC 53847.
And this was the ship that we see mentioned in the episode, aptly named Pegasus, where Riker's captain or old captain comes on board, and we find out that that Riker was involved in a pretty shady cover-up to do with Romulan cloaking technology. Well, actually, no, Starfleet cloaking technology that was against the treaty, and for the life of me, I can't remember if it was the Khitomer Accord or something else that banned the Starfleet from pursuing cloaking technology, but it was highly illegal.
He took the position of junior con officer under Captain Eric Pressman. However, the captain experimented with a transphase cloaking device, and the truth of the interphasic cloaking device was buried after a mutiny led Pressman, Riker, and several others being chased off the vessel while the rest of the crew perished. Starfleet intelligence classified the incident, preventing further investigation. From 2358 to 2359, Will Riker was reassigned to the USS Fortuna when he was promoted to the rank of lieutenant. Eventually, he applied to the first officer posting on the USS Hood and was accepted. However, the Excelsior class was mid-overhaul, and in the meantime he was appointed to the Federation Embassy on Beta Z. It was here he met Deanna Troi at a Beta Z dignitary's wedding, and was smitten. He remained on Beta Z for several years and dated Deanna for some time, although there are some discrepancies based on differing timelines in books.
This guy, this is what I mean by how good Certifiably In Game is. Treaty of Aldrin, thank you! Thank you, Mr. Dax. It's this, and I'm really glad Pincala recommended him, because this guy's, you can tell he's done his research. You can tell he's also a huge Trek guy.
Frequently took part in diplomatic missions around the area at this time until 2361, when he accepted a position as operations officer on the USS Potemkin, NCC 18253.
And this is where we get the episode Second Chances, I believe it's called, where we get two Will Rikers, and we get actually Thomas Riker.
2. He uncovered a method of hiding a ship in the magnetic pole of certain planets and powering down to hide from sensors. This year, he took part in a rescue operation to Nivala 4. A 1 in a million chance caused the transporter duplicate when he beamed out during the operation, which would remain undiscovered until 2369.
Yep.
He was promoted to lieutenant commander for his success. The next year, 2362, he took the position on the USS Zhukov, NCC 26136, as second officer, and a year later he was assigned to the Excelsior-class USS Yorktown.
Now, may I remind everybody, the Zhukov, where Riker was second officer, was also where Barclay had transferred from to the Enterprise in 2367, I believe it was, is the first time we see Barclay in season 3. So very interesting ties together.
CC 2033 as the first officer. He soon transferred to the USS Hood, NCC 42296, under Captain Robert De Soto as the first officer, the same position he had deferred years earlier. However, he refused to allow Captain De Soto to beam into a hazardous situation, which was noted in his career as risking a court-martial. By the end of the year, however, he was promoted to commander and offered 2 positions: command of the USS Drake, or the XO position on the USS Enterprise, NCC 1701D.
And if I was Riker, and I always have said this, I would have chosen to serve under Picard as well. Absolutely, I would have. Because everyone knows who Picard is at this point. And, I would have absolutely maneuvered to serve under Picard.
In 2364, he accepted his role as number 1 to Captain Jean-Luc Picard. USS Hood took him to Deneb 4, where he conducted a manual reattachment of the saucer section and proceeded to take part in the Farpoint mission. I'll gloss over the majority of the show's timeline, as you can easily watch all of that, but I'll highlight a few key points.
Yeah.
He uncovered the Takon remnants in the Delphi Ardu system and negotiated the release of the Enterprise and Ferengi vessels. In 2365, he took command of the USS Hathaway in an anti-Borg training wargame, which...
I love that episode. War Games is great, because the Zakdorn asshole, he's such a dick, and he hates Riker. And Riker ends up whipping Picard's ass and provides the solution. Not only does he kick Picard's ass in the war game, but he provides the solution for the actual problem that befalls them when the Ferengi mistake their war game for an actual, battle.
It turned sour when Ferengi arrived. Riker then invented a method of faking the destroying of a ship, another maneuver credited to his tactical thinking. That year, he took part in an exchange officer program with the Klingon Defense Force under Captain Kargan of the IKS Pach, which...
Another awesome episode. The culture, you get to see more culture of Klingons. You get to see that they're, they are warriors, but they also have a sense of humor. They have, a camaraderie of sorts. It's, I really, season 2 was where it started to get better in TNG. Season 1 was just absolutely terrible, but season 2 and onward is really good. And even season 1 had its really good points, but it's, it was just finding its footing,
which he took in stride. This year he was also offered command of the USS Ares, which he refused, his second such decline. In 2366, he took command of the USS Enterprise D in the efforts against the Borg and Locutus. Admiral Hansen granted him a field promotion to captain, which overrode the previous offer to command the USS Melbourne. He failed to catch up to the Battle of Wolf 359, but managed to halt the Borg advance and recover Captain Picard. After he was cleared for duty, he stepped back down to commander and returned the captaincy to Jean-Luc Picard, who was accused of the murder of Dr. Nell Apgar, but was discovered to be innocent. In 23...
That was a great episode. Perspectives. I can't get over the highlights that he's making here. These are great highlights. Let's see. He flirts with a Klingon woman, if I remember correctly. She more flirts with him, and well, no, because what he does is she makes a pass at him and leaves, and then the one Klingon guy goes, they would like to know, they wonder how you would endure, and Will looks at them and he goes, one or both. Because, that's Will, right?
367, Riker acted as a temporary host to the Odan symbiont to complete negotiations with the Pelians. In 2368, he was assigned to command the USS Excalibur as part of the Tachyon detection grid to halt Romulan involvement in the Klingon Civil War, and was given captaincy of the Enterprise again while Captain Picard left for Romulus to find Ambassador Spock.
This is... Again, all amazing episodes. I'm so glad that these are the things he's choosing to highlight. These are, and the host episode was awesome. The way Crusher was shown and depicted. Gates McFadden did a fantastic job depicting the heartache. And the love, and Riker, Jonathan Frakes, was just fantastic. The way he portrayed the host. It was like a completely different guy, the Trill host.
During 2369, however, he was relieved of his position as First Officer by Captain Jellicoe.
Yep.
He also undertook an undercover mission to Delonus 4. He was sent in 2370 to infiltrate the Marquis when Ensign Ro Laren went rogue. This year, the Treaty of Algeron violation that now Admiral Pressman had engaged in came to light. The former Pegasus crews, including Riker, were brought to a board of inquiry at Starbase 247, but he was cleared for duty. In 2371, the Battle of Viridian 3 took place, and Picard left Riker in command of the Enterprise as he beamed down to the planet's surface. Riker captained the ship's evacuation and controlled crash landing. In 2372, Riker was assigned as XO on the USS Enterprise NCC 1701E under Captain Morgan Bateson, who then passed over command to Captain Jean-Luc Picard. This year also saw the Battle of Sector 001 and the 2063 First Contact incident.
Which, so again, that was Viridian 3 was the Next Generation, or the Generations movie. And of course, we're now talking about First Contact. Again, just, we've already covered how great these movies are. This is like I said, this is a really good video.
During the Dominion War, the Enterprise was assigned to the Gorn border, and in 2374, Riker was assigned to oversee encampments along the border with a Klingon Starfleet engineering team at El Caron 2. The Enterprise was present at the Second Battle of Sol in 2375. Later that year, he took command of the Enterprise again to alert the Federation Council to Admiral Doherty and the sonar plan for the Baku.
Yeah.
During this battle, he invented the Riker maneuver. During this year,
He totally ripped off his captain. He ripped off Picard. He totally ripped... Oh, Picard has a maneuver. I want one too. The Riker maneuver.
He was also assigned to acting captain of the USS Excalibur NCC 26517 until its own captain, Captain Mackenzie Colquhoun, returned. In 2378, his father, Kyle Riker, died, and he proposed to Deanna Troi. Admiral Janeway also offered Riker command of the Lunar-class USS Titan, with a reminder that she suspected it would be the last time he was offered a command. In 2379, Captain Riker married Deanna Troi and accepted promotion to the USS Titan NCC 80102. Before he could depart, however, he took part in the Federation response to the Shinzon coup and then the Battle of Basin Rift. His
The worst movie ever. Partially because it made no sense, partially because Data died. I read that they had to get rid of the Enterprise D because it was designed for a television aspect ratio and not good for a movie screen. Interesting. I could see that, but I've never heard that before.
first mission on the Titan was to attend diplomatic talks with Romulus at the head of a diplomatic task force which yielded promising results. Later that year, he began exploration of the
Shut
Gun
up,
Nebula.
Pincalo!
During 2380, the Titan responded to a distress call from the USS Cerritos NCC 75567, driving off several Pack-led raider ships.
Pack-lids! Pincalo's favorite species!
2381, Thaddeus Troy Riker was born. In 2385, the synthetic attack on Mars led to the Federation banning synthetic AI development. Around 2387-ish, Kestra Troy Riker is born. Around 2391, he and his wife moved to Nepenthe with the family in an attempt to cure Thaddeus's illness, and William Riker was placed on reserve duty, in temporary retirement, but with his commission still active. In 2396, Thaddeus Troy Riker dies. In 2399, Riker aided the retired Admiral Picard and then returned to Starfleet at captain rank on the bridge of the USS Zheng He NCC something.
NCC something. Oh man, that's good. I like that. NCC something.
To head up an Inquiry-class task force that intercepted a Tal Shiar fleet over Coppelius. The confrontation was resolved without firing a shot on Starfleet's side. This is the latest canonical event where we see Riker with more on the horizon. In terms of hobbies, Riker famously enjoyed jazz music and playing the trombone, but he would frequently try most sports and other new things. He took part in theatre, chess, cooking, fishing, darbo, and of course was a regular at poker.
And he did exercise programs with Worf. He did the Klingon exercise program. I guess that's covered under sports, but I mean, that is worth noting that he was willing to take part in another culture's exercise program, which is pretty damn rigorous for humans. You have to admit.
His willingness to try new things often opened him to innovative thinking that translated very well to his tactical ability, and he was a natural risk-taker and diplomat.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Commander Data estimated Riker only abides by traditional tactics 21% of the time.
I remember that. If I remember, he will know that we know that he knows that we know that he knows. That's another part of the War Games episode.
More often than not, meshing ideas and standard responses to create unexpected outcomes. The Riker maneuver may be named after him, but ever since his time at the Academy, he had been creating unique solutions to problems. From analysing his career, we can see that he was ambitious and career-focused, dedicating himself to his work, taking on more than he needed to, and was pegged as a potential to beat Kirk's record to captaincy. In fact, Riker himself had command of a starship in mind from the start, and turned down his first posting as an ensign to a space station in favour of the USS Pegasus. His first outing may not have gone as he expected, but it did little to dampen his rapid advancement throughout the ranks. He may have had more vessels than listed here, but he was eventually promoted to lieutenant. It was then that he took what seems to be his first land-side posting on.
Interesting. Okay. And I didn't know he might have had more vessels. Oops.
Beta Z, but only because he had already secured a position on the USS Hood and was simply waiting for the ship to finish its overhaul. But here is the first time we see his momentum falter somewhat, and it's probably not a coincidence that it's when he first met Deanna Troi, who would go on to become his Imzadi, his beloved and future wife. Like I mentioned, there's some open interpretation as to how long he spent on Beta Z, but his relationship with her did not work out. Lwaxana Troi did not approve of him, and he seemed too immature for Deanna. The two
Lwaxana, no, she never liked that he was into Deanna and she was into him. That was never a thing that she approved of. That young one, or that little, or what was it she used to call him? That I can't remember what she used to call Will to Deanna, but it was not nice.
Parted for a time, but would reunite on the Enterprise, both more experienced. In 2361, he returns to the career path and advances through the ranks, achieving lieutenant commander, gaining a second officer, then first officer position, all within 3 years, before then being offered his own command, or the posting he would become famous for on the Enterprise D.
Yeah.
The Enterprise D would then confront Riker with the only thing that ended his blazing rise through the ranks, not Deanna herself, but comfort. His functioning...
Exactly. There's so many times when people ask him why he's there, why he doesn't go for his captaincy, and he's like, I like it here. I'm comfortable here, and he even says maybe I'm too comfortable. It's something he has to confront. Um, so let's see here.
As number 1 under Captain Picard, surrounded by colleagues he appreciated, was in many ways a perfect fit for him.
Yeah.
He frequently got to flex his command muscles and was apt at whipping the frequently rotating crew into a shape worthy of the Federation flagship, all the while learning from a mentor and friend in Picard. Starfleet would offer him his own command several times, but he always turned it down, to the point where Admiral Janeway reputedly had to point out that the Titan would be the last offer.
Yeah, that and you know, you can only turn down a command so many times before you know, no one wants a fat Enterprise D. Oh no, Windows decided to update Anya. That sucks, Fury Kitten.
And he voiced several times that the Enterprise was the only ship he really had his eye on commanding. It was no secret that Riker pretty much hogged the much coveted XO position on the Enterprise, which garnered him some hostility on the parts of officers such as Elizabeth Shelby, who otherwise would have stepped into the role. It was usually interpreted as arrogance, but in actuality it was comradeship and loyalty that kept him from advancing, and the pauses in his career reflect this.
Yeah, that's a good point that Certifiably In Game makes here. That Riker's a very loyal guy, and he will, when he makes a friend, he sticks with that friend. And he not only had a friend in Picard, but he had a mentor in Picard. And dare I say, a father figure in Picard. It's incredible how a man who is afraid of children, and I'm talking about Picard here, garners so many people that think of him as a father. There's Riker that thinks of him that way. Ro said that she felt of him that way. Yar said that. It's Wesley said it. There's so many people that say to Picard that he was like a father to them, and I wouldn't say hates kids. I would say he just doesn't know how to deal with kids. And I just find it fascinating that the amount of people that say that he's like a father to them when he just doesn't know how to deal with kids. It's an interesting dichotomy.
It's as if he had an ambition and desire in him to excel, maybe from the lack of parental figures, which wasn't placated by his career excellence. But it was sated by the relationships he found in his peers, which he showed dedication and loyalty to, and his own ambition took a back seat. In later life, we see that he continues to hold this loyalty to his family and colleagues in higher regard and reactivates his commission to save Picard. Yeah. This view of William Riker is far from the only aspect to his personality, but it is one I interpreted from his career record. Some quintessential Riker episodes, in my opinion, include the first and second parts of Best of Both Worlds, where we can see his command capability on show, and Second Chances is a good reflection of his life choices. Yeah. Lastly, I'd point out either the Icarus Factor or Episode 7 of Picard, Nepenthe, to see his approach to family as a son and a father. Thanks for watching this personnel file on Riker. It's a shame that the Titan books no longer fit entirely with the show's continuity anymore, but I still like to think that many of these events still happened in some way. Okay. Plus, we're still getting frequent dips into his life as a captain, so in many ways his character is still developing. Thanks again. I've been Rick, and I'll see you again for another video. Until then, goodbye.
And that's Certifiably In Game and his personnel file on Will Riker, which I really enjoyed. Paternal, thank you. Yes, that's exactly it. It's very, he feels very much like Picard is his father, and more of a father than Kyle was. And I can see that. I can see why he would feel that way. Let's see. I'm not sure what else I could cover here. Because I don't want to spoil um, next week's talk, because it's going to be me and Hammer and Skep and Irate and Functional to talk about Deep Space Nine. So what I may do is just keep it short here, and go, because my kids just got home, so I want to go see how their grandmother took them to see a light show, I'd like a drive-through light show, and they got to go see her new house, so that was exciting for them, and I want to go see how they liked it. Um, but please keep an eye on Twitter, because I might end up gaming tonight. I'm not sure yet. If Pincalo plans on streaming, then I won't be. But if I do game, I may stream it. So keep an eye on Twitter. No guarantees, but keep an eye on Twitter. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, I'm going to be on Scribe Light's channel, and we're going to be doing a TED Excellence together. It's going to be another blindness related one. And also tomorrow night, it's going to be another blind and special. Hopefully Pincala will be joining me. He's been really tired the last couple of Sundays, so he hasn't been able to join me. And then, of course, coffee stream on Monday. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and I hope to see you later. Bye!